correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.
Welcome to the How We Roll Gaming Podcast, everybody. How are you all doing? Nick, Robert, how are you doing?
I'm doing as best can be. Didn't have the greatest day at work, but I'm very glad it was a Friday, so now I got the 3-day weekend to look forward to.
Yes, me too. 3-day weekend. I love a 3-day weekend.
Don't we all?
You, Nick?
2026, brand new year, brand new nonsense.
Brand new year, brand new nightmare? Is it at least Wes Craven's new nightmare?
Let's break in the fourth wall, but still somewhere in that same area. Code.
Gotcha. I'm kind of excited about one thing, because yesterday, it wasn't a Kickstarter specifically, but it was crowdfunding. But the crowdfunding for the second edition, some 30 years removed from first edition, of Steve Jackson Games' Toon, finished. And yes, I backed it.
We never doubted you.
So for those of you unaware, which might even be one or both of you, so Toon,
I've heard about it, but I've never been like you know more than me.
Toon is a role-playing game where you play a cartoon character, and cartoon logic applies, and you have wacky hijinks-filled misadventures. And
be careful, Lauren may be starting to crawl into this lesson now.
Hey, all of us are welcome. Once the book actually shows up, and we can actually play it. Cartoon hijinks apply. It's literally been over 30 years since I've played first edition, so I don't remember all the details, but I remember tremendous fun was had by our gaming group, and you can do campaigns, or you can do one shots. You could even do a hybrid of the two by carrying the same character through one shots as if they are in different cartoon shorts.
Well, considering the first edition, I wasn't even born yet. I'll take your
Yeah.
word for it, and it'll be fun to think about.
I do gotta ask, can we Roger Rabbit some things?
I mean, I don't see why not. It was released around the time that Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out in theaters, so it was kind of hitting the popularities of both Who Framed Roger Rabbit and D&D role-playing games at the time. So,
fun fact, Who Framed Roger Rabbit was actually a novel called Who Censored Roger Rabbit.
Right. And the writer, after the movie came out, the writer wrote a sequel to the novel that was more a sequel to the movie.
Yeah.
See also Crichton, Michael, World, The Lost.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as long as you don't Becky Le Pew it, Nick.
Oh, mon amour.
You're
mon amour. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
You're despicable, Robert.
That's all, folks.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
Thank you. That's one character I can do well.
I want to say that the couple of times that we played back in the day, I don't remember if we all adapted existing characters or made up new ones, but it was at the time that, Nick, I know that this will probably ring bells with you. Robert, probably not, because Nick and I are more the media hounds here. But the
Fair.
Ralph Bakshi Mighty Mouse The New Adventures was on the air.
Oh, yeah.
I did Mighty Mouse, but it was specifically the Bakshi Mighty Mouse who was, meta commentary, self-aware kind of stuff.
It was basically for contemporaries, like he was Deadpool, but not Deadpool.
That's what I did. I don't remember what the rest of my friends did. We only played it a couple of times, but I'm looking forward to this showing up.
Sounds good.
I don't know when it will be, but I'm looking forward to it showing up because it's a lot of fun. Kind of like Everyone is John. It's a nice, wacky palate cleanser. Everyone is John or Paranoia.
Or have it.
It's a nice, wacky palate cleanser in there.
All right. Well, we've done some free shout-outs. How about we give a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yes.
Before we dive into our subject, we want to let you know about our other great games on the D20 Radio Network.
Yep. I Should Roll is an actual play podcast set in the Mass Effect universe using a homebrew system that's a mix of D&D 5th Edition, Blades in the Dark, Fate, and other mechanics. They currently have 2 long-form campaigns running, Ride of the Valkyrie, set in 2184, and Dangers, set in 2189.
And you can find more information about the podcast on their site, ishouldroll.com. And of course, get the podcast through your preferred podcast platform of choice. Now, are we ready to dive into our subject matter for the episode?
Are we able to dive into our graves, Daryl?
Finish him!
Yes. Yes,
So,
we are.
Yes,
And
let's talk about murder.
Let's talk about mayhem. Let's talk about the killing blow. Let's talk about when or if adversaries should go in for the kill.
Yes, because that is always a pivotal point in any campaign. When it gets to the point where you as a GM have to ask yourself, even the players have to ask, should I kill him? Or should there be some, not really a MacGuffin, but a plot that leads them to not dying?
Again, we're not talking about player characters and their and the morality of killing and looting, and that's a whole different bag of words.
No, this is mainly
on the GM side.
Yeah, as a GM, when is it? I want to say appropriate, but that doesn't seem like the right word. When it should be story-wise good to kill a character.
When does it fit the story?
Yes.
When does it fit the story, and does it undermine the players having fun?
Exactly.
If it happens. Because
here's the main factor is like you want there to be stakes in a story. And the easiest way is like where the bad guys are gonna try and off you. That's the basic.
And I think we should set kind of a level here in that we're primarily talking about ongoing campaigns.
Exactly. Not one shots, those that won't matter, but they don't have long term impacts.
Not horror cinematics, whereas like where you're expected to die, but that's part of the fun.
Yes.
Yeah, because with a one shot, there's no guarantee that the characters are coming back, and you don't have to worry as much about what degree, if any, of plot armor you're giving the PCs.
And for a horror story event is like, well, it's the same thrill that you get from watching your classic slasher film.
Yeah, if we're running an Alien cinematic, I fully expect that at any point my character is going to die.
Exactly.
The more vicious, the more enjoyable. Ironic.
In fact, the one time Nick ran a cinematic with me and Lawrence, and we worked together and didn't die, we all collectively said, "Nick, you did it wrong."
That went wrong.
And along those lines, I mentioned it just a couple of minutes ago. If you're in a game of paranoia and the player characters don't die over and over and over again and respawn with their clones, something is terribly wrong with the session.
So we're
Yeah.
talking about deaths that are characters, player characters have been around with them and do care about them, and in stories, campaigns.
Yes, and then we're also not counting sometimes where just the dice are not in the character's favor. Like I still remember in my short-term Star Wars Dark Knights Arise when you guys were fighting the Terror Droid, and I rolled the crit on Daryl that was basically said, doesn't matter what your health was, by the end of next round you're gonna die. It's like, well, I can't really. You had a chance if you could beat the thing. It's like there was a chance you could stabilize him, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And that was session 2, dear listeners.
Three. Yes.
But thank you for self-reporting.
Yeah, it was my
Yes.
it was my first double kill, but I don't count myself for Nick because I literally told him, "No, if I do this again, he's gonna hit you again." And you were just like, "Do it." I was like, "Okay."
Because literally, I had nothing. I had literally had nothing I could do.
But
Yeah, it's just like, all right.
the kind of thing that we're talking about here is your players are in a fight with the big bad
Mhm.
of the session. Not even necessarily the big bad of the campaign if they are separate characters. But they've reached a combat encounter and they're fighting the bad guy, and dice aren't going in their favor, or they're going overwhelmingly in the adversary's favor, and you have one or more unconscious PCs laying here on the ground.
Yes.
Now, again, there's plenty of rules, especially laid out in most systems, saying on how to get the bad guy out of a situation that is not favorable to them.
But now the inverse is how should a bad guy react in a situation where it is favorable, but you may feel, or the players may feel, they don't want their character to die yet, in a sense that it feel like it would hurt the story.
Again, that's the more complicated and more interesting what we're talking about today.
Yeah, or even yourself as a GM, it's like this player, this character, the player's giving you their backstory, and you've like, ooh, I can write this into this, this, and this. But then in one fight, it's like, oh, if I keep doing this, they're gonna die, and then I've lost this entire plot I've been thinking up. Maybe I don't want to kill them.
Yeah,
Again,
you have a point in the future in mind for them, and it's driving
realistically,
underneath the surface. It's driving
Yeah.
a lot of your ongoing narrative, and if something happens to them, then there's going to be problems, because then you have to figure out if you're going to dump that narrative or find a way to shift it onto another character, and can
But
it be
realistic-
shifted to another character.
but
Exactly.
realistically, your villain is characterized as, well, a villain, a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah, so how do you, story-wise and character-wise, rationalize that they would leave the player alive? And sometimes one of the easiest ways to do it is just be like, they're sadistic, they want them to suffer. Because in one of my examples, in my Ashes of an Empire campaign, there was kind of a big bad. If you know the modules, it was just Sarah from the Ghost of Dathomir. And she was attacking a station. The players were trying to leave. I killed the group pet, so they're pretty angry with me. And then they were getting prepared to leave. Sarah was blocking their way to the shuttle, so they were doing their turns to get to the shuttle. And then another player's character who owns the ship was like, "Okay, I'm ready to shoot forward and go shoot to light speed. Just like go out and just meet at light speed." I was like, "Okay," but I didn't let him know. I was like, "Yeah, you're kind of forgetting another player character's not in the ship. she's stuck under a grate, and you've kind of forgotten that." But I didn't tell him that, and he did it. I was like, "Okay." You're missing somebody. And he's like, oh.
Yeah.
But it was actually a good
Yes.
character moment because his character is known to be self-serving. He's willing to leave people behind, but this was more like an unconscious thing, and now he has to live with that. And so the other player's character is under this bin with the big bat up there with the lightsaber like this, like thinking, should I? And I was like, should I? Should I not? Then I said, no. This place is coming down. This big bat would be like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave you to maybe rot, or maybe you'll fly off into space. But I got better things to do than kill you. And she just walked away.
And the more important story beat would be for that character to not have to live with the fact that they were abandoned, rather than be obviously destroyed.
Exactly. Can be a good character art, a plot point, conflict between characters. Who knows?
And now, depending on your adversary too, your villain, another way that you could go too, and it's similar to that, but not exactly that, is you could Joker it. There have been multiple times in various Batman media that the Joker has had him at his mercy. He's had Batman at his mercy. All he has to do is pull a trigger and put a bullet through Batman's head. And he's like, if I do this, where's the fun in that? You're too much fun being around.
Exactly.
Okay.
And some of the comics have even delved into that. What if Batman died? And Joker's just like, what do I do now?
Again, you can.
It doesn't work for every villain.
But there is
the right dynamic with the characters.
That is the ultimate trope example of the fact, like, the only reason the character is alive is because of plot and conflict. The Joker literally cannot exist without the Batman.
Yes.
They are so intrinsically in terms of the storyline and creation. It's like, yeah, it wouldn't make sense. So therefore, the Joker has to recognize the fact that he cannot kill the Batman, otherwise there is no Joker.
Yeah, and that works in their setting because they're both nemesis to each other. But how do you reconcile that big bad evil guy with a group of people?
But that is how that is at least a trope that you could then work backwards and say, like, all right, can your antagonist exist without your protagonists, your heroes without the villain?
Yes, and in some instances, yes, especially if in the long-term campaign, it's a big bad evil guy. He's got schemes upon schemes. It's like, at least that's story-wise, well, if I kill them, it's not really going to hurt my schemes, but maybe alternatively, it's like, no, I want them to live because they're actually working towards one of my schemes without them knowing it. It'd be more of a hassle to find new people than keeping them alive.
Honestly, the worst case is like, okay, I've tied in the big bad evil guy to everyone's storyline. Well, now you've created a top-heavy pyramid. It beat him too early. No one's storylines could potentially be properly resolved.
Well, if I understand the principle that you're putting out there right, though, that potentially allows for player character cohesion and the development of their stories independently, because follow me here, especially if you build this in early on in your campaign.
Yes.
So let's say Robert, I'm running the game, let's say, and Robert's character meets someone who's a benefactor to them in some way. All right.
Okay.
And then Nick's character has this uncle that is a friend of his, or that he's fairly close with, who's supportive of him. And say we've got another player over here who they are friends to, or not friends, but they are friendly to, say, this what looks to be a homeless person over here that they pass every day.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to limit to just having 3 PCs, just so that I'm not describing 8 million different scenarios.
Okay.
Though the benefactor, the uncle, and the homeless person are all the same person. They're all the big bad who has gotten into the PC's lives before their scheme gets rolling.
Ooh, yes.
Very interesting.
And the thing is that the PCs, for whatever reason, they are already a unit of some kind. And the adversary knows that once I put my plan into motion, they're going to try to stop me because they're the main characters, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
And so that adversary has already, in one way or another, insinuated himself into the lives of the player characters.
In
And
very innocuous, hidden ways. So why doesn't he just
right.
poison them?
Yes, or it could
And
even be an interesting, like, he's the big bad evil, but he may actually genuinely care for the characters for the group. It's
yeah,
not just all for show.
Again, that's the that's there's multiple ways you could then flavor the character. Like there's more ways to prevent the big bad evil guy from killing the heroes than there are like excuses for why he won't.
Or maybe it's that I don't want to kill you. I want you to admit that I am right.
yeah. That's Dr. Doom and Reed Richards right there.
Basically, yeah. The idea is like when people say like, "Oh, that doesn't make sense for plot convenience." Well, guess what? That's spoiler alert. We're writing a story, so there are plot conveniences.
Yes, this was a lot of talking about why you may not want to kill a character. There are some signs to where it would be all right to kill a character, because I know in the D&D campaign we're about to run tomorrow actually, is my character through his own backstory is kind of self-loathing. He doesn't really like himself. He thinks he's a bad person. He's trying to be better. And there was a time when they got the better of him. The group calmed him down, but then he turned to the cleric and said, eventually through devotion, do you think you'll get like revivify, or basically you can resurrect someone who's died? And he's like, maybe, possibly. And my character said, okay, if you do that, and if I happen to die, don't revive me. Basically saying, I don't want to come back if that happens. Which in turn, it's kind of a green light to Nick to be like, if it happens, it happens. It's okay.
And
And
for out of context, but in context to those who are playing in our current campaign, he's done plenty of things that should have quote unquote ended his character.
Yes, my character's gimmick is that through bad things in his past, both done to him and done by him, he can't really feel anything. Like literally, he can't. He can feel emotions and everything, but he literally, like physically, can't feel anything. He can't feel the wind. He can't feel the water. He doesn't. He doesn't know when he's full, when he's thirsty. He has to literally keep a journal to be like, okay, should probably drink now to just keep my body up. And
Honestly,
so, I mean,
the amount of times that I said in terms of like what should have killed you have not killed you because you literally cannot comprehend the fact that that would kill you, or done things that are like should kill you but have done other things.
exactly. And he's kind of the unofficial tank of the group, so he does take some of the most damage depending on the situation.
Honestly, that's kind of the gimmick and fun of that.
Yes, but in that case, as a GM, you know, okay, that player is all right with his character dying if it were to happen, but either for story reasons or just because luck of the dice on their end.
We are kind of dancing around the topic, and I do see that we are dancing around the topic. But honestly, it's like we behind the screen for all of us, and just being honest, GMs aren't trying to kill you.
Yes, both because generally GMs, we generally like your characters. Like they're a fun bunch. And then also hurts our story, but it's also just like not really a jerk, but it's kind of sometimes just sad being like, well, that character's dead. You got to roll a new one.
Again, like I do feel like that there is a stigma behind like the GM screen. It's GM versus players, which is not true. And that it's That's not how it works.
Part of how this topic came up and part of how I suggested it to us to cover is I don't even remember which Discord it was. One of the Discords that I'm in a couple of months ago, the subject came up of, there was a big bad who had knocked out a PC directly. It's not like, you have the big bad is commanding their minions, and just through chipping away at hit points the PC dropped unconscious. No, the big bad
Ow.
himself had laid out the PC and was standing over them, and the question was, how do I justify the big bad not just driving their sword or whatever through
But
the
again, like,
PC because they're right there?
it is part of the discussion of like there is a subsection of people that ask like, well, so I've been asked before, so when starting GMing for people, it's like, so we have to beat you, we have to win against you. Like it's not a win lose situation, but it does lead into that situation where it's like, yeah, you're in the position of power as the GM, as the big bad evil guy.
Yeah, you have the power as a GM. If you were a bad one, to be like Rock's Fall, you all die. But no, you're the one who has the power, who is creating this story with the players, and you all want it to go someplace. And then in the example that was shown in the Discord, it's like, okay, how can I, who has made this villain character, I know his personality, I know what his plans are, I know how he acts. How do I use that to justify either killing the character or not killing the character?
It's the classic GM get off a jail free card, and that being they're captured.
Totally. And maybe, and that can be a fun subplot. It's either, okay, now you're captured. Maybe he's trying to like turn you or peer into your mind or making you a thrall. And now that character has
the
to
either. The rest of the team has to stage a breakout, a plan, a scheme.
Exactly. And those situations are not fun for GMs as well, because a little peek behind the GM screen on Nick and I's end, the last Legacy of the Force session, Daryl, when Betsy did her auto fire on one of the kind of like, not big bad, but a pretty good bad. And that character had the ability to reflect the damage back. And when Betsy said that's like 31 damage, Nick and I were just like, oh, okay. You take 31 damage. Are you alive? Luckily she was. I was like, thank goodness, because we didn't plan for that to happen. And we even joked like, Nick and I even joked like, oh, now she remembers that weapon has auto fire. On the one person that's not a good idea for.
The literal time that he needed to not use auto fire on.
But Nick and I were like, oh no, we didn't plan for a character to die in this. This is just supposed to be an interesting fight, not a kill, not a TPK.
We both kind of were okay with her forgetting the auto fire ability.
Pretty much.
It's just like, wait, she remembered the auto. Oh no!
Like, now you remember it now. I'm glad she didn't auto fire twice, because then we'd be like, oh, you're really dead.
She would have been literally turned into mulch.
Pretty much.
Well, and part of the problem, too, is a force power of the other adversaries that we were dealing with basically caught us in an action and response loop. So we couldn't grab Betsy and get out of there because one of us was constantly basically being held in place.
Yes, and
so we got caught in a cause and effect loop.
And we fully admit we were expecting one more player that day. He's more damage dealer. It would have worked better, but
and we didn't hold any of that against you. Just I want to be clear.
Thank you.
We didn't hold that against.
We understood that.
It was just one of those. we were out of options of what to do, and just kept getting caught in the loop. And
Yes, but then that's when Nick and I decided kind of another good thing you can do if that's the situation you're going for. It's like maybe this isn't a place where the PCs die. This is
Yeah.
just a place where their PCs fail. They have a failure. Like they have all these in the past, they've had all these successes and they just hit a failure. And
Again,
Nick and
the
I are looking
idea
forward to
of
how this failure for your characters is going to affect them going forward with all that happened afterwards.
again, a story failure is sometimes better than much more impactful than like a character failure, because it's not necessarily a character that fails. So like you could be like, oh, they're gonna be dogged on for the rest of the campaign. It's like no, it's part of the story.
Yes. Like pretty much in episode 5 of Star Wars, they failed. Luke
It did.
failed, Han failed, Leia failed, Chewie failed. C-3PO
Luke
is always a
failed.
failure, so
Luke failed.
but they were
Luke failed several times.
yeah, but they didn't die. They lived to fight in the future. AK
But it's like
episode 6.
all those, but that made that story so impactful. It's like, okay, we're at a dark point. We hit a wall.
And this can
Not further
be
there, but that's something that you can learn from, grow from, advance from.
Stakes like that too, we keep circling back to it all the time. It's probably it not probably is something that you establish during your session 0.
Yeah.
yes,
Like,
exactly. Like especially in the universe, you got to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
okay, is this a universe where it's much more likely for your characters to die, a la Walking Dead, Alien, Cyberpunk in some sense? And you got to be like honest. Like this is a gritty,
They're
pretty bad universe where you can die pretty quickly if the odds are against you.
I'm running a alien campaign, and I went in and said like, death is probable.
and
I
none of us have
failed to
died.
kill. I
One
failed to
has
kill
died.
any of you. One
No,
has
you've
died.
killed one. You've killed one.
One, and that is several months in.
Yeah. So, but then like in
But
Walking Dead, even
I did preface this like, I didn't want people to be like, oh, if you die session 1, to be like, to be surprised. It's like, it's meant to be a heavy death system. It just so happens everyone was very lucky.
yes, and kind of going to the GOAT campaign, Walking Dead. There's been a multiple number of character deaths, some by just the circumstances, because it's just zombies. It is very easy to die in that campaign. But then sometimes it's player conflict, and it just fits in the story, especially in the scene where my character and his own flaws and desires ended up killing another character who was actually okay with my character killing him because almost that's what his character wanted.
In the same campaign, the dice weren't in my favor.
No, that was session 0 for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But going back to yours, mine was a entirely dice based scenario where it's like
And
in a game that is
but-
meant to be heavily death based. But your situation that you were describing, Robert, was entirely just a scene.
Yeah,
Dice
it was
were rolled,
Well-
but they weren't.
but-
it wasn't a case of dice being rolled and
But Nick, your second character death in Walking Dead was entirely narrative driven.
Mhm.
It was entirely based upon the situation. And I do give credit to both you and the other player involved for playing it out and understanding the stakes and the system that we were in. And
I understood the stakes.
there was
I
no-
did not want. I didn't want that character to die either. That's probably one of my favorites I made.
but there was really no other way out given the scenario that the two of you were in. For those of you listening, the other PC was a doctor. Nick's character had been imprisoned in the haven that they had found themselves in Las Vegas. They'd found you at this festival, and he's like, "Oh, they need to take Nick's character back over here to treat her."
Yeah.
And
Because of
that
a
was going to be
mishap
a
with a
way.
horse.
Yeah, there was a mishap with a horse, and this way we can also fake the character's death and get her out of prison. Now that we know that she was alive and in prison. But the doctor character had also made the mistake of promising the mob in town that he was working on not a cure for the zombie virus, but a way to
End
Inoculate.
it.
eliminate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so had tinkered with some research, and his supervisor at the makeshift hospital came in and said, "Oh, well, this looks
Yep.
good. Well, this prisoner over here is disposable.
Hey,
Let's try
okay.
her."
It's just
And like
like,
I was I had no ability to resist this.
and
He was like,
can we
I
kind of
got
stop?
this.
It's like, okay. And you were there like, okay, this is the situation. Are you guys all right with this?
Yeah,
It's like-
that's another thing too, that in a situation like that, even though we know that character death is a potential outcome in a system that is that prone to it as Walking Dead, I will still often take a moment out and say, like, okay, time. Are we good with this?
And I was like,
Nick being Nick.
I was there. I was there.
But in situations like the Discord conversation that sparked the topic, I try not to, unless it is baked into the story, I try not to put the big bads in a situation where they will be standing over an unconscious player
Yes,
character
exactly.
in a position to deal the death blow, unless it's baked in. Unless, look, we're playing Star Wars and you guys are up against a high level Inquisitor, and that Inquisitor is standing over you with the lightsaber. Now, some systems, if it were in Star Wars, I would at least hear an argument for expenditure of a destiny point for something to happen to distract
Her big dramatic hero moment.
Yeah,
a big
or
dramatic hero moment, or just something else that attracts the adversary's attention that is more pressing than delivering that death blow right then.
exactly. And that's always something you can introduce. Or if sometimes in fights, if someone is down, but the big bad evil guy still has people to fight, that can be a good way to be like, okay, I'm diverting my attention away from your character who's down to where I could easily kill them to deal with now the other threats to make sure I can take them down.
Again,
And
I do feel that it's very fun that we are dancing around the topic, and it's like, again, we don't want to kill player characters outright.
Exactly. We will if unfortunately the dice do it or it fits in the story and the characters
But again,
are okay with it.
those are very specific situations.
Now, on the player end, too, just given everything, if that adversary has the player character down and is over them in a position to deal the death blow, odds are there's going to be another player character who can take an action before the bad guy can take their action next. And at that point, the other player or players can then, ride to the rescue. They can be the big damn heroes.
And that's also a thing that would be in the nature of the GM. Like, they could, like, defer that for, like, say that their action is like they're preparing the coup de grace.
Yes, or
And then say like, okay, that's their action. Next player to act, and again, to give the chance
Oh,
to the players.
I just had just a beautiful dramatic image come to my head when you said they're preparing on their next action. The bad guy picks up the unconscious player character
Yeah,
and says to the rest of the player characters, "You surrender now, or I kill them."
again,
ooh,
that
nice.
is that is also a way to both diffuse and also really evaluate the character's motivations. Then, depending
Yes,
on where the state of like the bad guy is, if he's using them as like a shield, or he's at a moment of strength but is just wanting to end the conflict.
yes. And then we've talked a lot about maybe how you can tweak it to where you don't go for the kill. But now let's turn around and think, when should you as a GM go for the kill?
Now, obviously, going back to the main thing that we've sort of hinted about, consent from the player is always important.
Very much so. Always get consent from the players before you get to that point where, like, okay, this may be it. Your character may die here. Are you all right with that?
To go to an extent to that, in a campaign, a Star Wars campaign, I went involving your son Daryl. Uh, I went. It was like your character may die. He did not end up dying.
I did.
You did,
It
but I
was
did
me.
approach. But I did approach them and say like, your character might have to do the sacrifice play.
Yes, which is also a good point. Maybe the bad evil guy has to go for the kill because it works in the story, but also because player sacrifice. It's like you go for the kill, and the guy dying is like, "I wanted you to do that," and it makes an opening in the bad evil guy for the rest of the players.
Ironically, that it didn't happen to have to happen for that. Like that's probably going to be an RPG glorious story.
Very much.
Part of it too is so thinking of when the big bad evil guy would go for the kill. Depending on what the system is, that blood being shed may be part of their end game.
Entirely possible.
They might need to take X number of lives of, not innocent lives, but lives that are coming at you in
Heroes,
order to.
certain warrior types, etc.
I've got a quota to
Right.
meet.
Yeah,
They might be incentivized to go for the kill.
Yes.
but
Or
that would be also part of the soft confirmation and consent. It's like, okay, you are the big bad evil guy needs to kill X amount of paladins. There's a paladin on the team. He is going to be targeted by the big bad evil guy. Just so happens Paladin is also probably the best guy to
Best
challenge the big
armor,
bad
got
evil
all
guy.
the stuff.
it could be baked into not just the villain's plot, but into a character's backstory. You have a big bad evil guy who is specifically after one of the members of the party.
For like a
Because,
bloodline, an old curse, or like actually
yeah,
needs the blood of them.
yeah, for any given reason, they might need to eliminate them to take a position of power. They might they might need to sacrifice that particular individual because they are part of a particular bloodline, or they've been marked as part of the sacrifice, or whatever. So
Or it could be that maybe that big bad evil guy had a prophecy that they were going to be defeated by said character, so he's trying to get him out early. It's like, I am not going to
yeah,
let you stop me.
yeah, they are Skynet trying to kill John Connor.
Basically, yeah.
or he's Lord Shen trying to kill Poe in Kung Fu Panda 2 because he
Yeah,
said a warrior black and white would kill him. So he's like, okay, I'll kill all the pandas. Easy peasy.
basically, yeah. The idea, basically, you could give the big bad evil guy every reason to like target a specific character.
That potentially gives reason to not kill the other player characters if they get in a situation to, because I am not interested in you. You mean nothing to me. Killing you has no benefit to me. Get out of
But
my way.
create a unique situation where they would put themselves in front of that antagonist and potentially
Yeah.
Paris in saving that character because they would recognize the importance of the big bad evil guy, even if regardless of like the actual connotation or truthfulness of their goal, they could commit the heroic sacrifice.
Yes, or a situation in the universe itself brings death very likely. Because I know in the Legends of the Five Rings campaign we're playing, it's very big on, of course, it's very heavily influenced by Japan, samurais, all that stuff. And one of the mechanics is you can get into duels, like literally one-on-one duels, your character versus somebody else. And one of the options for a duel is you duel to the death. Like at the end of that duel, someone is going to die, either your character or that other person. And
Oh,
that's full
and
on consent. Like, are you willing to put your character in that situation against this person to where if something goes wrong, you are likely to die or you will
there's a
die because
similar
that's
thing.
how the duel is won.
There's a similar thing in the Star Wars system. For the Guardian tree, you could take the final ability of Fateful Duel. Basically, 1v1. And it is
Exactly.
meant to be like the 1v1 final, your classic samurai duel.
And
What?
I'm not going to lie, when when I first started thinking of this topic after I saw the post on Discord, and it'll kind of show looking at the thumbnail on YouTube or on our website, the system that we play that immediately came to my mind about adversaries being more prone to go for the kill was Legend of the Five Rings.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It again, it
It,
fits the sort of samurai aesthetic. It very much
Yeah.
is the samurai aesthetic.
Yeah. And in that universe, death in battle is seen as glorious. So most samurai, even in the character creation, even ask, how do you envision your character dying? Because actually living to old age is actually considered a waste.
Honor in battle. It very much it's very fitting of the idea of like in that system, yeah. Without you even saying that it was meant to be like a hard, like your character may die system, it's like honestly, I kind of accept it. Like, okay, this character may not live to the end of the campaign. It felt
yeah.
right for the story that that system tells.
Yes. And then, in fact, kind of shifting back to why you may not want to kill a player character and how it can fit in the story is like maybe your bad guy is one of those honorable warrior types. Maybe he defeats the player and instead of killing, he's like, "Now I want you to remember this. I want you to get stronger. I want you to come back because I want another fight."
Or
Or it,
just as obvious, easily, it could be like the bad guy's like, your life is now mine. I have defeated you. You are now my thrall, my servant.
You're indebted to
or
me. Maybe
even
your character's a Wookiee. It's like your life is now mine as a life debt.
or
Basically, yeah.
even simpler than all of that, if your villain, your main adversary, your big bad evil guy has their own code of honor or adheres to a wider code of honor, an enemy that's unconscious, it's not honorable. That's murder. That's not
That's not an honorable death. That's just straight up cold blooded murder. I will not do that.
right.
And again, also in a similar sense that likely in a similar sense of honor, it's like you are not killed by your enemy. You are not respected. You did not earn your death. nor do you earn life because you failed. You have to.
or
You're Ronin. You have to earn your re-earn your spot.
or that honorable bad guy, maybe one of your player characters is kind of a coward, hides behind, and it's one of those, you're not worth sullying my blade. I won't even sully my blade with your blood.
Now, something that occurs to me as we're having the conversation here is it's entirely possible that your campaign can make a tonal shift during the
Yes.
campaign. So
Yes.
you could start out with your typical action adventure campaign, your Star Wars campaign,
Your
Star
GI
Trek.
Joe. Your
Yeah,
good
you,
guys,
you,
bad guys, explosions.
right. You might in turn during the course of that introduce a villain who is the kind who would, I have the hero down, of course I'm going to get them out of my way. And if you're going to be making that kind of tonal shift, yeah, you had your session 0, that was a year or two ago. It's totally fine to do a check-in with your players once you've introduced this new villain, because the odds are they're not going to get into direct combat with this new high-level bad guy the first time they show up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you say, and then you do a check-in with your group and say, okay, here's the thing. So far, you guys have been the Star Wars crew and you've been dealing with stormtroopers and whatnot, or you are the crew of the Enterprise and you've been dealing with villains of the week, and now
There's
you're
a Borg
dealing with
cube.
there's a Borg cube, or you're dealing with Khan, and so you have a big bad now who, should the opportunity arise, will not hesitate to kill the characters. Are we all good with this?
Or do something
Mhm.
worse.
Yes.
Especially
And like,
with the con examples, like those
I
worms.
shall leave you as you left me, marooned for all eternity in the center of a dead planet, buried alive.
alive.
Gone!
yes, and go back to that, a character's death can be a pivot point for the group as well. Like, I'm thinking of, as a celebrity example, I'm thinking of Critical Role's second campaign, The Mighty Nine,
Yeah.
where in the beginning they were just a bunch of misfits, kind of a hard time working together because they came from walks of life. They were just united by circumstance. And then I believe it's Lucian's death in one of the earlier episodes changed them, that they had to go now on a kind of a journey to figure out, okay, how do we work as a group? How do we trust each other? How do we actually become a group rather than just a collective of individuals?
For a more pop culture, even more pop culturally relevant example, Phil Coulson in the Marvel's The Avengers. Him passing was a major factor turning the team of misfits into Earth's mightiest heroes.
Exactly.
I would say Coulson was an NPC though, but if we
Using
want
a-
to look at
Coulson's not an NPC.
Coulson's
But
an
put some
NPC.
respect. Put some respect
Hang
to the
on.
name.
Hang on. Coulson's an NPC in the movies. He's a PC in Agents of Shield.
Yes,
All right, you're skating on thin ice.
Or if we use the GOAT example, The Walking Dead, my character killing that other character was a pivot point between my character and Betsy's character, who in that campaign is my character's niece.
Yeah.
Where it was that I've got to stop kind of leaving you in the dark, thinking it's for your own protection. I'm now going to be honest with you. I'm going to treat you like I can trust you with this. And going forward, she even repeated back to me, no more lies. And he's like, no more lies. This is what it is.
Honestly, Betsy plays kids great. This is really good at it.
Yeah, our characters are great.
To give another pop culture example, if we look at the progressing seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
Oh yeah,
each season had its own main villain.
Mm.
And with each successive season, the stakes got higher and higher with each season's villain. So you have season 1, you have the master who is just trying to get out of the mystical prison that he's in because he's a big mean vampire,
Yeah.
and so he wants to eat the world. Okay,
Cartoonish.
season
Go ahead.
2, because of a curse, Angel, one of the heroes, becomes the villain, and he's wanting to open a portal to a hell dimension and unleash hell on Earth. And even one of the other villains, Spike, wants to stop him because no, I don't want the world destroyed because it's got all of these human happy meals walking around. If he destroys the world, what do we do?
Yeah, there's nothing for us. We're gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Season 3, you have the mayor who wants to transform into a demon and take over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
then
that's reference. Cool.
Yeah. Glad you got that.
season 4, you have the initiative who created basically a Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But the stakes actually went down a little bit because the real villain of that season was the characters drifting apart and not working together, having graduated high school and
The real
gone to
villain was
college.
the friends we lost along the way.
I mean,
Technically, that's true. That literally was the theme.
the entire premise of the show was growing up as hell. It was a metaphor for growing up as hell. But you get to season 5 and you have and this I won't go through the last 2 seasons, even though the last one had super high stakes again. Season 5, you had an elder god in human form who wants to get back home, but that's going to unleash hell on Earth. She wants to get back to the hell dimension that she ruled and will tear the Earth apart to do it. One of the characters even
Buffy, watch it. It's really good.
one of the characters even comments, "Does anybody remember the mayor? I just want to be a big snake."
He did just want to be a big snake.
But yeah, it's
And-
like, and that
but
goes back to
because
thinking.
Oh God,
of them.
that's me. Oh, that was me.
You're the mayor.
I'm the mayor.
But what I was getting at, and that was a long way to get to my point, I apologize, is the nature of the villains kept increasing up to the point where the final season, the main villain was literally the embodiment of the first evil on Earth. As the stakes increased, you have villains that would have been more likely to, had they gotten Buffy on the ground in a position that they could kill her, they would have.
Yes, or like in D&D, we've gone from just like insects to government officials to fighting some devils to possibly in the future we may have to fight a dragon, but also the apocalypse is coming.
And that reminds me of another Buffy line. I suddenly find myself having to learn the plural of apocalypse.
Oh wow, that's gonna stick to me.
Technically, it's a
Apocalypse, apocalypse.
It's Greek, so that's where you get into the finicky parts.
You should know that, Mr. Latin guy. They're kind of cousins, right?
No. Greek came first.
If I don't want to say bloodthirstiness because it's not the right word, but it's the best one that comes to mind. But if the villains become more willing and able to take advantage of permanently removing one of the player characters from the field, it's worth doing a check-in once that villain is introduced to make sure that the players are good with the raising of the stakes.
Again, are they
are they good with you removing some of their plot armor?
Yes,
And
or
this is part of a good way to segue into a potential future. Like, what if players leave, and some of them would like to, well,
have their
if
character
it
die.
adds stakes to the arc, and they're not willing, either unable or not willing to continue the campaign. If it fits the narrative arc, some of them may say like, "Well, then allow your character to be ended."
Well, and I kind of did that with the first Star Wars campaign that I ran in the current system. The player who was playing the ship's pilot, the group's pilot, was like, "Hey, you know what? I just have too much going on, and I don't think I can really commit to playing as much as I thought I would be able to. So I want to bow out." And the players had crashed on a planet that was overrun with the zombies from the Death Troopers novel.
Ah, yeah. Love those
Yeah,
things.
you mentioned that.
And the last time the players saw her character, she was being pursued and swarmed by a mob of those zombies. They never saw the body, so that if she decided to come back, I could do some hand wavium, because this is Star Wars.
But that does give you like the way out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, for all intents and purposes, to this day, that character is considered to be dead.
Bringing back to the
And
intention of the fact is we don't want to
well,
kill
and
characters arbitrarily.
what made that moment even better is she hadn't told the rest of the group that she was leaving.
Yes, and those are always the fun things for GMs. If you can get the player to tell you in secret, makes it much more impactful if it happens.
Yeah. What has been sort of a theme is like we've made excuses for like how you can end the character. It was like mainly because we don't want to. We like
Yeah,
the characters.
Yeah,
We
we
want to
like the
see their
characters.
stories. We want to see the stories happen. And even in the cases where like the dice are bad, we make excuses like the classic plot armor excuses.
Or the another form of that player, like, I don't want to play this character anymore. Instead of they having to leave, it could be one of those, I thought of a better character, so I don't want to play this character anymore. I want you to find a way to kill me.
Again, or like again, it's more of a case that most character devs are both something that needs to be talked with the player and the GM. And ultimately, the GM doesn't have to. If the GM wants to kill a character, they should approach the player themselves if they feel that that's what the story needs to be.
right.
But ultimately, 9 times out of 10, the GM doesn't want to kill your character.
See, in Walking Dead, now I kind of see it as my mission to keep killing your characters over and over, Nick.
Hey, Nick's
But
already
well,
that's Nick's own character in real life when he plays these people. He's like, I am prepared to kill them. I've got like 3 more in the back wing.
that's just me. That's just my luck, my dice, regardless of system. It's really fucking bad.
Well, yeah, you've died once, died twice. Now your third
I
character in
died
the Walking
in session 0.
Yeah, and now your third character just had their daughter reject her, so now you've been in a different headspace.
Yeah, emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Finish him!
Oh,
Hey, if you keep dying, we'll keep having fun.
Are we in the bullying me section?
I think
Well-
we might be.
Yeah, I think we are.
I think we might be. We might be in the bullying section, but I just, it's become kind of a running gag that your characters in Walking Dead die.
In general, my characters die. I have really
Yeah, but
bad
The
luck
Walking
when I'm a
Dead,
player.
it's much more. Like, how many seasons have we had? Like 7 or 8,
Yeah.
and you've already lost 2 characters.
But the thing of it is too is that this is kind of off of our topic, but I really do like the way Walking Dead set up, and I like that our group, all of you have bought in to the premise because you're familiar with the property, the media property, that you know that no one is safe, and you're cool with no one being safe.
Yeah, and it's
Especially,
also Walking Dead is
especially when we start focusing on someone's character. That's when they're gonna die.
yeah, and also
It's
Walking
like-
Dead is just one of those universes where you're not playing a magical space wizard or a chromed up mercenary. You're just a person. You're just a human.
and the way things are going, I can see, before too awful long, Nick's current character and your character, Robert, that conflict coming to a head.
Yeah, because emotional damage for Nick's character. My character has no idea what they're doing, especially with that situation, because he can only take care of Betsy's character, who's my niece, because he's known her all his life. He knows how they can operate, how they can talk.
You stole my kid.
The chemistry, and I didn't steal your kid. Daryl made a bad roll.
I did not make a bad roll. I made an awesome roll.
He failed. He failed successfully, and now my character's like, okay, I actually now have a girl that I don't know. Met her like a few days ago or a few weeks ago, and now I have to be her father. I've never had a real kid before. How do I do this?
How do?
How do I parent?
But yeah,
You're too early for You're too early to ask ChatGPT for this.
Oh, we've already joked. Either my character, Nick's character, are somehow going to get together, or they're going to try and kill each other, or it's going to be both.
Honestly, that's again. I do like the dynamic is on the edge right now, so we're gonna see where that goes in the next episode.
Oh yeah, which I need to put on the calendar.
Same with my 5 rings.
Now we can bully Nick, because Nick is in all kinds of trauma, because Nick, what did you do within the past few days? What bold decision did you make? Nick binged all 15 hours of The Pit at once. Nick went through that emotional ringer all in one sitting.
He did a shift in the pit.
Yes, he did a shift in the emergency room during a mass casualty event.
So, Nick, when you die in Walking Dead, is your Nick's character going to be a doctor?
Yeah, because our doctor is dead.
Am I going to have to?
We gotta have a doctor who's gonna be a certain this time, and he is jaded as F.
Is my character going to have to kill yours? Am I just going to be known as the killer of the doctor characters?
Nick, are you bringing Noah Wiley in?
Oh,
Are you bringing Noah Wiley in? And do I have to go super meta? And since it's set in Las Vegas, you have Noah Wiley, but modeled after a role post ER. So I bring in a George Clooney.
Wait, if your character is jaded, you can be a mob doctor.
We'll
all see.
Either way, I gotta strap on the gloves with the snap. Gotta do the snap gloves.
But Nick's current character is alive and well for now. So
for now,
give it time.
Give it time. Give it time. It's only a matter of all it takes is one bad roll.
Yes, one bad roll or one bad roll on the zombie table is the only way my character escaped his roll.
That's for everybody.
Yeah, the only reason my character escaped on the zombie roll is because Daryl was like, "There's not enough zombies for that to be viable."
Honestly, that was.
I was like, "Oh, thank you." Oh boy, I was like, "Oh, come on." There's like 2 of them.
But do we have anything now that we've bullied Nick for a little bit? Is there anything else that we want to add before we sign off?
No, kind of the central theme we've said about whether you should. Communication is key. Always talk with your players. Get their consent before you even try this. before you even be like, well, your character's dead. Roll a new one.
And the stress, again, like I've heard plenty of people say, like, no, the GM doesn't want to kill you.
Yeah. A good GM's goal is not to TPK the party.
Honestly,
unless that is the agreed upon point of the campaign or adventure.
Unless you're playing a one shot, a faster purple worm, everybody dies.
Yeah. or
right.
a horror assassin or anything, but it's like the main factor. If you're in any regular game and the GM's stated purpose is to end your characters, that is the game. You just leave.
Yeah, maybe in Walking Dead, probably not in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, that's really hard to do.
Exactly. So the GM really has to try in that case.
But on that note, we've reached the point of the show where I say, check out our website at howwerollgaming.com. And at that site, you will find information about all of our current campaigns. Well, I need to get it updated. Podcast archives and links to our merch store and all of our social media.
Yes, and you can also directly support the show through Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/howwerollgaming, and you'll see our different membership tiers starting at just $2 a month, with special recognition on our Discord server, and higher tiers giving you on-air credit and discounts on our merch store.
Finally, if you have any questions you'd like us to answer, topics you want us to cover, or even submit your own RPG glory story, send us an email at podcast@howwerollgaming.com.
And in the meantime, don't kill your player characters if it's not in the villain's nature and your players haven't bought in. And until next time, when we hope you join us again, as always, I am Daryl.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Robert.
And this is How We Roll.